Okay, great. So, want to welcome you guys. Hopefully, more people will show up. My name is Hannah Messer, and I'm a Adobe certified instructor. I also a subject matter expert, artist, and designer. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about myself, but then actually, what we're doing today is we're going to look at what is new in Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe InDesign. I'm also going to jump into the public beta because a lot of stuff got into the new 2026 and something still waiting, but you can use it because they have a public beta and you have a secret beta. So if you want to be in the secret beta, you have to send them a note and then they get you in there and then they have a public beta. And then it's kind of like the first year, like it's moving so fast. It's like I can't tell you, oh, it's not happening now because while I'm talking, maybe there's another change. And that's what's happening. So, um, a little bit about me. I'm based in Los Angeles and I have a small studio at home to do digital art. I'm also a painter and a designer, and I do a lot of stuff on Behance, which is kind of, I call it the social media artist playground. Are you familiar with Behance? So Behance where you can put your portfolio and you see other people and you can get job and things like this. And for a very long time, for the last 3 years, I was live streaming on Behance until they took it away now. And monetarily, probably it just didn't work for them. So all the freelance artists that used to live stream for them for students gone now, but I still have my streams over there. So if you go to my Behance, have like maybe 300 tiny videos about stuff in Photoshop and Illustrator, InDesign, Acrobat, um, Adobe Fresco, and of course, some other Adobe applications and on and off I'm like doing, but mainly that's what I'm doing. So what are we going to do today? And it's a very easy one because it's what is new in Illustrator, Photoshop, and Adobe InDesign, October 2025. So last week was Adobe MAX. I don't know, some of you know what it is. It's every year they're doing Adobe MAX. There were 16,000 people this year. That's what I said. And then they showed us what's new the entire 5 days. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm allowed to say was AI, artificial intelligence. Everything was AI, 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 to the point where I'm thinking, can hear about AI. I'm going to paint. That's it. So we're gonna look at first. We're gonna look at Photoshop, and then I can do some other features too if you're not available for you. Many of which were in beta before, and now they improved, and there's a lot of stuff. So first of all, we have enhanced background remover. We have AI retouching, meaning like skin retouching and all kind of stuff like that, which are a lot easier to do. Real-time collaboration, multiple users can come in and work with you. Generative upscale, which is pretty new. Harmonize tool, which is amazing. Performance improvement, which you cannot see in front of you, but they say that it is faster. So it's really depending on your computer, of course. They don't mention that you want it to be faster, maybe buy a new computer, but it is faster for a lot of stuff right now. And then you have new color and vibrance control, and then dynamic type. We might just go in and do some other stuff too, while we're looking at the stuff that we have. Then we're going to look at Illustrator. So the font browser is a lot faster. That's not something we need to show, but it is faster. You have smoother gradient, which are really, really better than before. Improved snapping tools, which is really, really critical for Adobe Illustrator for somebody who's doing technical drawing. So I'll show you there's a new panel that you can just go in and snap stuff to the area. Again, performance improvement. So if you open big files, you'll see how faster it is. Then you have the turntable, and you see it's still in parentheses in beta. I was a little kind of disappointed because they showed it in Adobe Max that it's out, but it's not out all the way, but it's in the public beta. And so I have the public beta over here to show you what it means. And this is taking flat images 2D and making them look like 3D, or at least looking at them and see how they work and turn them around. It is AI behind the scene, of course. Then you have artboard management that it's new. And then you have the retype and enhance star drawing. And I can show you here design from any angle, manage artboard control, and design with precision. I'm also going to do object on a path that a lot of people do not know it existing, even though it's been there for a year. And then also some few things. The problem I see a lot of time in things like Illustrator, there's hidden tools that people, they have something new and then people ask you, do you know this one? And I'm like, yeah, I know it, but some people don't even know it existing. So sometime I'll go over and show you what's going on with that. And then InDesign did not get a big facelift this time, but the main one is Flex Layout. So its feature enable you to create containers that adapt automatically to the page that you have. So you have to kind of nest up one inside each other. You can share editing. So if you are using InCopy, which a lot of people do not use InCopy, this is kind of like the Word of Adobe. The problem I'm having with that, because I was trying to move people to InCopy, a lot of people say, no, we're still using Word and we'll place Word document into InDesign. But if you're using Copy, there's a seamless interaction between them. And now you have something called Copy. InCopy online, you go directly. But so many requests, you can have PDF. You can open PDF inside InDesign after so many years. I know people think that they cannot, but now they can. And then you manage and share cloud documents seamlessly. So I also put over here a link, like what's new in InDesign. I also have what's new in Photoshop and what's new in Illustrator. And you see the QR code. So if you take a picture of the QR code over here, you can see the images. I mean, you can download some of the files that I have here. So instead of bringing them, you can just take a picture of that and then download it. It goes to my Google Drive over there. So kind of like making it kind of easy to work with. I made it kind of like concise, but you can also go back here, and when you click on that, you get everything that you have here, and you get also kind of like the presentation over here with all the stuff that you have. So I am not a presentation person. I don't like to go in and read stuff from like, like slides, kind of like to dive in right away and go into the application that I have over here. So I'm going to take out that, and then I'm just going to go back here. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm launching Photoshop. And then the screen is still there, but I'm just going to go back here and launch Photoshop. And this is Photoshop 2026. I also going to launch in a second the beta, and we're going to kind of compare it. But basically what we have here under the home, this is the home, this is the Learn tab that has a bunch of stuff that probably you know, people that sharing files with you, and they have something completely new that says projects. So you can open a project file over here and put all the files in there and then start looking. So kind of like assemble it into tiny little project. That's completely new here. You want to start kind of looking into it and play with it. I don't have anything inside. It's just a demo project. And then you have something new over here, and you have some kind of template. So I have the template, and guess where the templates are coming from? So if I'm going to go back here and click on the template, I can look at the template right now, but actually I can open it in Adobe Express. So that's really what they're trying to do a lot. Take template that within Photoshop and has the ability to go directly into Adobe Express online and then go in and change it. So I can go back here and edit it in Adobe Express. And then if I click edit in Adobe Express, it launches directly Adobe Express for you. And now I can go back here and have that. And then I can even access Lightroom Gallery over here. So I can go back here and I'm inside Adobe Express. So you used probably Adobe Express before, right? Did you use Adobe Express? So this is the web application. It's kind of like Adobe trying to answer Canva. Yeah, it's the Canva of Adobe. There's a lot of new stuff here that are really, really cool. I was one of the people that I didn't like it in the beginning, and I said, "Well, why are they telling me how to do stuff?" But when are you using it? You're using it when you do something pretty fast. Like tomorrow, you have to do, let's say, a portfolio and send a link to your client right away. So I will do a web page directly in Express and just do that. And then the good news about it, it works with Photoshop and it works with InDesign and it works with Illustrator. So there's a seamless integration between them. And that's what they're trying to kind of emphasize. You don't have to download the Photoshop file, you just retrieve it and it's linked into here over here. And this is actually the template that I have here. And I can even go back here and let's say decide that I'm removing the background. So if I click remove background, you'll see all of a sudden it's going to be like, look at that. That's my background is removed very fast. I don't have to go to Photoshop. The bad news is if the internet is not working right, it doesn't really work. And I experience it a lot sometimes in classes because I'm showing how to do Express or show how to do Canva and everything else. And then I have it doesn't work for you. You have to kind of like refresh the browser because it is a browser-based software. But you can see here, absolutely, I have this. And remember before that I had the background. Now I don't have the background. And of course, I can go back here and I can bring the background back and I can do some other stuff. But we're not going to look at Express right now, but that's what it is kind of new.
And to clarify, the templates that we see here, they're gonna automatically open in Express, but we could save it and then bring it back into Photoshop? Okay.
Yeah, you can bring it back to Photoshop. You can do different kind of things because you can also open some stuff here just as a template no matter what. But that's kind of new. The design fast with template in Adobe Express. So they're kind of trying. But the good news also with Adobe Express, it used to be, because I'll show the regular templates inside Photoshop, you cannot use the images, but from Express, the images that they have there, you can use them. So it is kind of like copyright free, so you can use them. They just decided to embed it within the area. They come over here and then edit in Adobe Express. What else I have? I have Lightroom photos if I want to go and go to Lightroom and then I can also have generation history, which is really, really cool that everything that I did over here online, AI, these are all AI stuff, and you see the generation history. So if I was busy today, this is what I did this morning. You can see it's all AI images. I was playing and playing and playing, and it was in Firefly, not in Photoshop. I was just playing directly in Firefly and playing with Photoshop over here. But I'm just going to go back here and go to home. So the first thing that you do it, I always show it because this is the welcome screen. Sometimes you don't want to see it, right? I usually don't need to see it. So you can always click on the icon over here back and forth. But if you never want to see it again, I'm going to do Command or Control K over here. And then I can go and say show the home screen or not show the home screen. On mine, you see it's turned off. I don't want to do that. And I want to show you another new things all the way down here, which is create new layer when brushing. It was from last year, but a lot of people do not know that. What does it mean? If you have a layer, and I'll show you what it is, and it's a smart object, you cannot draw on it directly, and Photoshop will tell you to rasterize it. But if in your preferences, you tell it create a new layer when brushing, it will create you an automatic layer. And we're going to go and actually maybe it could be the first thing that we can do over here. So I'm going to click OK here. And then let's say I'm going to say file new. And that's what I wanted to kind of show you what I have here. So if I'm going to go to print, these are different templates. These are the Adobe Photoshop templates. So what does it mean? Let's say I'm going to go to this template and I'm just going to see the preview. So this is a template to do stuff here and maybe do kind of a portfolio for mockup. But you see the images here? You don't have them. So if I'm downloading it, you have a frame for position only. That's the difference between them. The Express one, you have the whole thing. Here, it's for position only. Let me just do one that I have already because it takes a moment, just some time to do. So I'm just going to go, let's say, like this one, right? So if I'm going to go back here and just open it because I downloaded it, you see what I have? I don't have the images. It looks beautiful, but now really in the layers panel, I have for position only, and then I can put some stuff in there in case you want to kind of like play with Photoshop and just look at it to work with it. And that's the difference between the two of them.
It is a style house.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes you need some inspiration, like you stuck. I don't know if you stuck sometime. You said, like, how do I start? How do I start? It's like a blank canvas and a colorful canvas. And then I usually open something like this and I say, well, I don't need it anymore, but it's just going to go in. And then the typeface you have, but the problem also with typeface, this typeface I do have. And then I have it called pop-ins. If you don't have the typeface, as soon as you click on it, it'll tell you Photoshop is going to change it to Myriad always. So depending on the typeface, most of them are cloud fonts. So if you have Adobe Creative Cloud, you do have them. So I'm just going to do the first thing here. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to go File and Open. And I'm going to my What's New in Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. I'm just going to go to the Photoshop tab. See, kind of organize it a little nice. And then you have Enhance Background Removal. But I'm just going to double click over here and then just open one image right now. The first thing I want to do here, show you an older one. So what does it mean? I'm just going to go into, let me just go to a better workspace. I'm going to go to reset my workspace. So I'm going to see everything over here. And then I'm going to make it, let's go to my layers panel over here. And I'm going to go and make that into a smart object. So if I'm going to convert it to a smart object right now, and then I know that I want to draw on it something, instead of opening a new layer right away and go to the brush, now look what happened if I have my brush over here. As soon as I brush, do you see what happened? It opened for you a new layer. If I didn't do that, and I turned off, create a new layer when brushing, and now I'm going to go back here. It will tell you you cannot brush directly on a smart object, either rasterize or open another layer. So kind of like they didn't tell anybody they did it. And I remember last year, the first time I went there and I said, why do I have a new layer? Well, it was turned on in my preferences. By default is not on, but now with me, it's also on all the time. Another thing that I like to do, and not new, but if I'm going in, this is my, let's say, smart object or not smart object. If I go to my filters, look, and let me just go back here and convert this one to a smart filter. So under the filter menu bar, look what you have here. You have blur. This is all the filters that you have, but you also have a filter gallery. This filter gallery used to be inside here, folders by folders. And I'm going to show you how to bring them back here, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not a new feature, but it's a good thing to work about. So let's say I'm going to say filter gallery. And I'm going to go in here and I'm choosing something here. This is really cute. I have this little kind of like etches stuff looking. Of course, if I'm going to go back here and double click here and make it into blending mode, you can see that it is going to look a little bit different. So I can go back here and just play in the stuff and then just go in and just do different kind of things and then just play with the stuff. And this is the filter gallery that I have over here. The thing with it though is, look what it tells me over here. It says filter gallery. So if I'm opening the file right now and a client is calling me and said, what did you use over here? Can you tell me right away? Well, I don't remember. So I have to double click here and I'm going to tell him, oh, I did graphic span. So you have to double click and look and then go in and change it. So as opposed to, and then I'm going to go to my preferences again. And then I'm going to the place over here, and then I'm going to go to plugin. When I'm going to the area of plugin, I'm going to say show filter, gallery, groups, and names. That's the only little kind of like button that I have. I'm going to need to close Photoshop and relaunch it because it has to remember that I just did it, which is no harm done. And then that's the new screen over here. And now I'm going to go in, and I do have the recent file. I have it here. I'm going to go back here and make that into Smart Filter. And now look what I have here. Do you see I have a lot more folders over here? And I'm going to tell you why I like it more. Because if I'm going to go, let's say, to Sketch, and I'm going to the graphics pen right now, and click OK, look what I see over here. I do see the filter that I'm using. I know it's not important for a lot of people. For me as a designer, super important that I see right away the name of the filter. So by default, and I asked them, why did you do it? Because when they did it, people flipped out and they said, we wanted it to look a little cleaner, but doesn't really matter. I don't think it looks like not clean when I have more folders over here, but I really like it that I'm going to go in, let's say, to let's say emboss or something like this, you see the name of the galleries over here, and right away you can go back here and work with it. I can also go back here in between and then just go with blending mode between them. And then I'm just going to go back here and then go into another blending mode. And now I'm just going to go back here and see the area that I have, and you can see how the image is looking. So you have your filters on. I don't know if it's important for you. It's important to me, and that's why I kind of wanted to show it to you. So what I'm doing now, I'm not saving it yet. I'm going to go to File and Revert, because I can open the new image here. And what I wanted to show you here, it's one of the new features that they have here, and then it is the enhanced remove background. So, and I can show you the before and after with another image. I can say remove background, and it used to not look so good before, but now it's really working awesome. Almost perfect, not perfect, but almost. And then if I zoom into it, look what I have here. This is the area. Maybe I can change it a little bit, but that's kind of like a nice selection. And then this one is on the device. I'm going to undo it for a minute. And how do I check it out? Because I can go to my selection tool, and then I am going to go into one of the, like, let's say, object selection. And then you can see here, select subject. Because remove background is kind of parting with select subject, and you can do select subject with the device or on the cloud. So it used to be that you do it on the cloud, it's a lot better than the device. What I'm going to do is show you, I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to duplicate the image, same image, and I'm going to call this one device. And now I'm going to select subject and click the device. And then I'm going to go back here and click on it. And let's see what we are getting here. I'm getting over here kind of the selection. I'm going to do Command or Control J to create another layer and deselect it and zoom in to see how the selection is looking. I'm going to go to the other copy over here and then select subject, and I'm going to do cloud. So it used to be that the cloud took longer, but better selection. The device was softer, but the selection was a little clunky. But right now, they are almost the same. It's kind of very hard to see the difference. And then if I turn out over here, you can see that, and zoom into it, and you can see it's really almost the same stuff. So I can go into arrange, and then maybe arrange to vertical over here. And then I'm going to try on this one, and then zoom into it a little bit. And then let's see, it's almost the same. And then I'm going to go to this guy, and then you can see it's almost the same selection over here. Let me check out the bottom of the bike over here, and you can see, and then this one is the cloud, maybe a little bit better, but you can see it's getting there to be kind of like the same thing, which that's what they call it, the improved remove background and select subject. I'm going to go back to the arrange, consolidate all over here, and zoom into it again to see what I have. So I can also load the selection again, and then clicking over here. If I want to see it ahead of time, that's when I'm going to go to select and mask. And you're probably familiar with select and mask. It's been there before, but now you can see a lot better stuff over here. So look what I have. I see already my mask already in front of me. So not a bad mask at all. And then on the right side, you can see you view profile, and then black and white, you can see it on onion skin, you can see marching ant, you can see it on a mask, you can see it black and white here, and on a layer. A lot of time I'm just gonna go in and look at it, and you see it's almost pure white, that meaning that the selection, it's almost perfect. Maybe I'm gonna need to fix it a little bit here. And then you can fix it already here. So if you're going into a regular brush, and then you're going to go and make the brush a little bit smaller, you can try, and then I don't know, I'm not doing the right thing here, but I can try to bring it over here. Another thing you can try to bring it is with this brush, which is the refine brush over here. So I can go back here and try to bring it. I might call it refine hair. So look what happened. Now I can see part over here, and it's not as kind of like straight over here, and I can start working with it. If you want to do a very perfect selection, like an amazing, amazing selection, I will still go in and maybe cut it into two selections. That's the way I still work. So I will do a selection to the top, a selection to the bottom, and then I'm going to go in and merge the selection together. That's the old-fashioned way of doing it. In case I need more fuzzy stuff around the hair and more straight stuff around the bike and everything else. Does that make sense?
And on both these are both sort of non-AI enabled.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it doesn't know it's a bike, it's just trying to see.
Yeah, and then they kind of call them not so much AI, they call it machine learning selection, which is kind of AI too. So they don't know what it is, but they know to take the subject and then just go in and do something. And of course, I can go in to remove background, and that's going to do it automatically, almost the same. Non-destructive. So if I hold down the Option key, I have that. So you can see here, I can really see my selection, and I can go back here and fix it. Another new thing that you have here that I still have it on, do you see that you have the mask symbol? This is something new because it wasn't before. If I go to panel option, I turned it on, but that's something you can turn on and off. That's new. Not from this month, but like a few months ago, show layer mask badges. So some people, especially new people that are using Photoshop, they want to know that they're on the mask. It used to be like this. You probably remember years ago. Remember we used to have it, this little circle. Now they brought it back, but they brought it a lot smaller here, so I know I'm on that. There's other new stuff here, the full mask on fill layers, expand new effects, add copy to layers and groups, and then preview the canvas when rendering the layers. So there's new things that if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. And also you can go in here depending on the project. The default is a small thumbnail. I put it already to this area here, and that is the medium one. Maybe sometime for a class, I'm just going to do it like this, and now people can see it a little bit better because we're not going to do like 400 layers right now. I'm good to go. And then I'm going to go again because I turned it off. So now I'm going to bring it back. I always recommend in the beginning, especially when you're going to do the test and they're going to want you to go into the mask, just have it there. Why not? Doesn't bother. And then you can turn it on and off. And this is what it means that I'm going to go into the layers panel, and then you can see right away, everywhere I go, I can see the layer. So this is the layer bound that you can view right away. And then also by default, I turn it off they do have show transformation control. Really bothers me as a designer. I don't like to see the transformation control all the time. I like to go to it to the edit menu, but by default, if you want to do that, that's fine. And now I can go in and transform it. And we all know we do not have to hold down the shift key in Photoshop. When you have the aspect ratio, why didn't they do it in Illustrator? So every time I go to Illustrator, I forget to hold on the shift key because I'm used to it already now here, but they didn't decided not to do it. And also for vectors over here, you still have to hold down the shift key. So they kind of worked on it a little bit, yes or no, and have it here. And then you can see this is option, that's the mask. The reason I don't like it, I just don't like to see it all the time. I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me, but I'm ignoring here, right? Every designer that use something, there's certain thing that you like and then certain thing that you don't do. This is one of them. So I'm going to show you another. Um, I have another object over here, and this is kind of like the before and after. So what I really did over here that you can see here, this is the device. I put them together here. So this is kind of like the device on top of a background, and the other one is in the cloud on top of the background. So you can see it's almost the same. It used not to look like this. So you don't see a certain thing that shows you like we changed it, but they did change it across the board. So any question about these changes? It's fun. It's great. Yeah, what can we do, right? That's what we have. So I did the before and after. I'm going to close all. My favorite one, I remember when they came out with it, I applied to all. Don't save. People say, why do you like it so much? I said, look how fast I can close all the 200 files that I have open. So it's another little feature that you have here. I'm just going to go into another one over here. And then I'm going to go back to Photoshop. And then I'm going to go to remove distractions. So I'm going to go and open these two images. And then I'm going to open another image that I don't have over here. And this is the remove distractions. And then the remove distraction, it's the new remove tool. I mean, I can show it to you working with other stuff. And then they're using it a lot for retouching and other stuff that you have. So I can duplicate my layer, Command J, and then I can go to the remove tool, which is in the J gallery. I call it the J gallery because you have the retouching tool here. You have the spot healing tool, the remove tool, the healing brush tool, the patch tool, the content aware move tool, and the red eye, which I quietly call it the useless red eye filter because nobody has red eye anymore, and this one doesn't have any preview. People that know me know I don't use anything that doesn't have a preview. I like to see it. I don't like not to see what I'm doing, right? I would use it if I have to, but I love preview. So I'm going to go into the remove tool. So in this case, all the way up here, you have the model, and then you can go back here and say generative AI, that's automatically. You can say generative AI on and generative AI off. So you can decide how you're going to go in. And then if you want to hear about it, because sometime, maybe I don't want to use my credit right now because a lot of the generative AI stuff, they start eating your credit that you have, and then you have to wait for next month. So I'm just going to go in and say generative AI is off. And then I'm going to say find distraction, and I say wire and cables. And it's looking for the distractions, and it's going to look for wire and cables. Okay. It's a little slower, a little bit, not bad, right? I still have something over here, so I have no problem to go to the remove tool, and it is based on the size of a brush. So I can go to my right bracket or my left bracket on my keyboard and make the brush bigger or smaller. And then I'm just gonna go and do that. And hopefully it's gonna take it. And this one did not take any of my credit. The other thing that I'm not crazy about is I duplicated the entire layer. So now if I wanted to do something, I have on and off, but I do have the complete layer already here, which I don't like this idea over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this layer and I'm going to open a new layer, empty layer. And then every time I have an option to do an empty layer, instead of duplicating a layer, I will do an empty layer and I'll show you why in a second. Now, while I have it over here, the first thing you want to do is you want to say sample or layer is on. Why? Because if sample or layer is not on, the machine just sees that and there's nothing here. But if sample or layer is on, the machine sees the empty layer and the layer below and the layer below and the layer below. Now I'm going to still do that and generative AI is off. And I'm going to go wire and cables. And I'll tell you why I like it a lot better, because now I can control a tiny layer with the cables and not the entire image on the entire layer that I have here. And it's going to do more or less the same thing. And then I'm going to take that away. But you see here, this is my layer right now. So if I'm going to go in directly to the layer over here, I'm not actually taking away stuff from a major layer. I'm just, let's say, on this layer. I don't know what I'm doing now, but I'm trying to just take it away. And let's see how it looks. Yes, it's part of the reference that you have there. So if you want to have it all together, you see it takes a moment. Thinking too long. Okay, I'm going to cancel it out, but whatever it is, this is what I have. So what I can do right now, I can also go to a blending mode. I can go in, overlay is not going to look good, multiply is going to, but if I'm going to go into different blending mode, I can go and do different kind of effect. This one I don't like because I just did it before, but I could have done something kind of funny looking with the cables if I wanted to look to a different area. So that's kind of like what I'm getting when I'm doing it in an empty layer. And then I can take away, like, let's say this area here, if I don't want to have it over here. I'm just going to go in and I'll open a new layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to generative AI is on. And I'm going to go to distraction and click on that. So might be better, sometimes not better, depending. So that's your decision when you're doing kind of like the remove tool. Do you want to use it or not? At the moment, I'm happy because after being in Adobe Max, I got free credit for everything until the middle of December. So I can just play and play and play and create the stuff, and then I have it over here. Also, it's going to tell you you can also create a new layer while you're working with it. So right away, if you didn't create a new layer, it will create a new layer while you're doing with it. And then you're just going to see, I just created a new layer. So each time it does generation, I like to do that because I can go backwards. It's non-destructive. I have kind of like, see what I have. And then in the end of the day, if I wanted all of them to be kind of together, maybe I'm going to go in and make it into a smart object. And now I'm good to go. I can play with it. I can do everything that I have. Does that make sense? So you see the difference between, and that's kind of like my suggestion. Every tool that you see that has select sample or layers or layer below, you know you can open a new layer. So the same thing for the old-fashioned even stamp tool, right? I'm going to go and open a new empty layer. And then if I'm going to go to the clone tool, and then I'm going to go current layer and below, anything that I'm going to do now, it is going to go to another layer. So I'm not directly on that, and I'm not directly on the duplication of a layer. I can play with my opacity, so I feel more free to work with it. Some tools, however, don't have it. Like the brush tool is completely destructive. Some of the drawing tools are completely destructive, but this one is kind of a good tool to go. And then the other file that I have here, just the before and after. So I just showed you over here. I'm just going to click on that. Why not? Love playing with that. So you see here, I'm kind of rebuilding the stuff that I have here, but it is going to absolutely a new layer while I'm having it here. That makes sense? Okay. The glass reflection?
Yeah. Feature that released a couple months ago or whatever, made it still in beta, where you, if like say like a model is behind glass or something like that. you
Yeah.
put the reflection on
Yeah,
it.
it's in the filters. We're gonna look at it in a minute. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and then maybe it's still hiding in the beta, but there is another one in Lightroom, and then there's another one in your filter that it takes the reflection and takes it away. We'll look at that. So I'm gonna go into File and Close All. Then I'm gonna open the beta for a minute and see what got in or not. Actually, I have a list over here, what's in and what's out, because it's kind of hard to remember what is in and what is out with the reflection and everything that you have. So now I'm going to go File and Open. I have a file that it's not actually here, but I'm going to go into, click on it, and then see if I can go and bring it over. Let's see if I have a file with a lot of people over here. So maybe, because I wanted to go in to a file that has some kind of people. So I'm going to go in to my Adobe stock over here and see if I have, of course, I don't have it here. So I'm just going to go back here and find the images, and I'm going to go in to Adobe stock, and then I'm going to go into Adobe stock over here. It's not here. I'm going to go into my, no, I don't have it here. Of course not. Let me look at stuff that I have some people over here. I'm just going to go back here to my classes. I'm going to go over here to presentation. You guys see something that says Adobe classes. I mean, it says to say something that says presentation. And then I'm going to go to here. Let me go into some photos over here. And then I'm going to go into this area. And then let's see. I want to look for files that has a lot of images over here. Okay, so I'm going to go into, let's say, I want to see some kids over here, and then click over here. So now I can go back here to the image, and then I'm going to go and make a layer, and I'm just going to open that, and then go into the Remove tool. And then in the Remove to Sample layer, we can see like people. So it is going to go in and look at the people that you have here. And then you're going to go in, and then I'm going to click here on the area here, and it's just going to find out if it wants to go in and remove certain people over here or not. So it didn't click on that because maybe there was too many people over here, or maybe and it's just work. Oh, okay, let me just go right here. It just takes, look at this, it takes a long time. So you will see also distraction for people that you have for all kind of area. Is it going okay? It's not bad, but it's still, look at the distractions that I have over here. It's kind of like looking kind of, yes, no, I mean, but I can go and look at the distractions over here. I also can go back here and then generative off. And I'm going to click on the distraction over here. Could not find any people or not the subject of the image. So this one, they are the major subject. But if I have a place that I have images that not, you have people that I don't want, that's going to go in and find them. So I'm going to go File and Open. And then let's say I'm going to go in to this area over here, and I'm going to go to some files that I have. I'm just going to go into Content Aware. And then you can see maybe I have some people here that kind of like distracting me. So then I'm going to go back here, see what happens over here. It zoomed into the area and showing me all the people that I have there that maybe are distracting and not going to work, and now they took it away. So is it okay? In the first one, is it okay? This one is not, oh, not bad actually. But over here, they really took the people. And then before and after. So if I'm going to go back here, this is what I have. That's the people they were kind of eliminating it with Content Aware. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like you have to go to play with it and see what everything is kind of like hiding or not hiding that you have. I'm just going to go to File and Open, and then go to my What's New and go back to Photoshop here. And then this one is, I'm going to go back here, let's say to Harmonize. And I'm going to go in, and this one is the one image. And then just going to open the other one. They're all like, they're not actually Firefly images. They're all like Adobe stock images that I have over here. So first of all, I can go into the images over here, and then I can go to the remove tool, and then just maybe just take away this little guy that's sitting here. And I can work on it a little bit better, but this is what I have. Just removed it a little bit, and it's kind of like cool that I have it here. But now I'm going to go to my denser. And the denser, and I'm just going to go actually and do object selection in this case. Do you remember how hard it was to select it before? Look at it right now, right? So all my amazing selection techniques that I developed in the last few years, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but right? But I'm going to go to select and mask before doing anything. And then over here, I'm going to say refine hair. So you see it refined a little bit. I think it's a little too transparent over here. So I might go back here to the refine brush and take it away a little bit. So it's not going to be that much, depending how much you want it. I also can zoom into it. And then I'm going to go back here to a regular brush, and then decide that I'm going to go and go back here to a regular brush, and then I'm going to kind of like clear the area, because maybe I don't want this area to be as transparent. That's going to be my decision, like this area. So again, with the selection over here, you can go back and forth and select it. You can also go again to this area and say edge detection, and then play a little bit with the radius and bring some stuff again in a different way. So I can fix it. Another way I can do it, I can go into the brush and decide to add some more stuff. So I have some kind of like more hair and everything that I have. And then I'm going to make it into a layer mask. Not a bad selection. It used to take a long time to do it. Now it is a lot easier. I'm going to drag and drop it. I'm going to go back here and drag and drop it here. Okay, be like this because my, okay, let me just go back to the denser. I'm going to click on that and take it away. I'm going to take out this guy, not save them. And then I'm going to go into the denser and click and drag it over. And look what I have over here. Of course, if I don't know what size they're going to be, what's the next solution is, make it into a smart object. So I'm just going to go, oh, this is the retouch that I did. I'm going to group it. And then I'm going to go to the entire area. I'm going to go make it into a smart object. And Command T, make it all smaller. Why am I making it to a smart object? Because I can make it bigger to the size that I want everywhere. And I can have them actually over here, standing on this here. So what's wrong with this one over here? At the moment when I have it over here, it looks like I brought it in, no cast shadow on anything, and you have something called harmonize. So right away, when you do harmonize, it is actually an NI feature right now. It will take the image that you have and harmonize it to the area that you have. So that's kind of like harmonizing it here, and then you'll see 3 versions of it over here. Yeah. So now you can see over here one version, another version, and another version, and you can decide which version you like. You see over here, I don't want to move it over here, but you can see here, even have, like if I go back here to my layers, and then I'm just going to go back here, this is what I have. That's what Harmonize is doing. I'm going to go back here to harmonize, and then you can see another version and another version. And then if I take it off, that's kind of like, so if you start moving it, yeah, you're stuck because it is really sitting in the area that you have. And it's cast shadow, actually, preparing for you to do a certain cast shadow, and they're giving you 3 variation to it to do it.
Give a nice sort of attempt at a color grade.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like talking to, yeah, and then it comes with this. So if I go back here, this is what I have over here. So what I do a lot of time, I'm going to click here. I'm going to load the selection of the densers. And then I moved it from before, and that's why it's not matching. Remember, I just moved it a little bit, which I shouldn't. But if I didn't move it, I can save the selection. And then let me just look at it, not moving it. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Command T it. I'm gonna go back here. A lot of time I might load the selection right away, and then I am going to save the selection. And I'm gonna call it denser. And the reason I'm doing it, because if you move my layers, the selection that I saved in the channel will come to the same place all the time if I need to bring it in. Now I'm just gonna go back here and back here and harmonize. And I'm thinking they're gonna fix the harmonize, and they're working on it. It's like people really love it so much, especially for product this description and marketing. You put some backpack on top of something else, and it looks like it's floating around, because I think I have a sample of it right now. So now let's say I have this one or I have that one. So I still have in my channel panel, even if I move it, I'm just going to go back here, and in my channel, I'm going to go in and load the denser. So the way I'm loading it, I'm holding down the Command key. So you can see now I have just the denser, not the drop shadow or anything that I have. And then I can go to my layers panel, and then I'm going to go back here, and then maybe I'm going to go back here and just say, let's say, hue and saturation. And then I can go back here, and this is new over here. They're giving you the colors to start with, and then you can start kind of like working with it, and then you can see everything that I'm doing over here. And then maybe I'm going to colorize it. You can see just the girl is changing or whatever it is without doing kind of like the drop shadow. Why? Because I just loaded the selection to it. So that's kind of like one of the new things that you have over here. I still have that over here as a channel. And then in the layers panel, it's absolutely non-destructive. And then I have it here. I could have done it the same thing just to a layer and bring the adjustment layer, but I have a new one over here. The harmonize take the entire layer and basically kind of harmonize it on top of that. Does that make sense? Yes. You can apply it to a layer, but the reason I just did it to a smart object is because I made it smaller. And then when you make it smaller, you can make it bigger to the same size. Although now they have a new thing now that you can start making the pixels a little bit bigger. But still, I work with smart object because when you double click on the smart object, it relates to the original file. So if you go in back and forth, smaller, bigger, relating to the same size, you're not pixelating it. And that's how it works, and that's why I make it. For filters, I always make it into a smart object. And the reason I make it because that's when I have a reverse engineering. So if it is a smart object or a smart filter, if I'm gonna go back here and let's say I wanna go and crystallize it or whatever I have here, you can see here it just on, and then I can turn it on and off, and that's why I make it smart object or smart filter. Does that make sense? So I always work with smart object and smart filters, and then I'm just gonna go back here, and then multiply, it's gonna make it harder, overlay, it's gonna make it lighter. Whatever it is, I do have a kind of a reverse engineering, and it comes with a layer mask also. So I can go and play with the stuff that I have. I do have another example, and then we're going to look at the stuff. I mean, where I'm going to go back here. I have another harmonize over here, and you can see the before and after. So if I'm going to double click here, I selected a layer over here, and I brought the layer to the image. And then I have the harmonize over here, and then you can see the 3 version of the harmonize that you have here, and that's kind of like my harmonize that I have. And look at that, on, off, see here? So I have this image all the way up here. I'm gonna click again, and then I'm gonna do file open. And then I'm going to go to generative expand over here. And then I'm going, hopefully it's going to work. It didn't work for me yesterday over here, but I'm going to go into my edits and I'm going to go back here. Where is the generative upscale? Oh, it went away from me. That's a remove background. And there is a place that you can go back here, and then it is going to be a generative expand mask. Where is it? Generative. Do you remember where it is? Let me see here. Okay, here it is. It's under the image menu bar, and it said generative upscale. And then it's going to tell you how much it's going to upscale. Output, it's too large. I mean, so for me, it didn't work with this one. It works with Firefly upscale. I think the image is a little bit too big right now for my machine. That's why it doesn't do it. Let me just look at the other one. That's what I think what happened yesterday when I clicked on that. And I think it worked with this one.
Is Nano Banana like out of beta as a choice?
Yes. Nano Banana is out of beta, but Nano Banana takes um a lot of credits. So yeah. What?
I guess Google is giving a discount.
Well, at the moment, actually, if I'm going to actually if you go back here and then let's say I'm going to go into, I'm going to say generate image, right? So I'm just going to go back here and generate, let's say, this one. And I'm going to go back here and generate. So I think the newest model is 5 right now, but still a lot of people are working with 4. Before gives you 5 kind of, oh, what was the prompt? Oh, I love that. I don't even know the prompt that I did over here. And then I'm just gonna go back here, and then you can see here and so that takes you to I think automatically to 4 that you have over here. But if I'm going to go to Firefly, Firefly, Firefly. You'll see how much I played with Firefly today, because you can see here, if I'm going to go back to my stuff, and then I'm going to generation history. So you can see here. So this one I think is Nano Banana. This one is a regular one. And this one is the same prompt. And that was actually Nano Banana over here. And then you can see over here. So I said a family standing and smiling in front of the house. And a bird is
Subtlety when they got
what?
subtlety on that where they got the sunlight hitting his hair.
Yeah.
And it's like correct where it's not.
It's a lot more and it's high end. It's actually high end, but I have one actually image over here coming. And then the reason I'm playing with it because right now I told them a bird is coming up. So you can see here that you have it over here. I could have gone into a video one and tell it to the bird to flying, but who knows? So this time, so far it's 0 credit for me now because I went to Adobe MAX. But if I go back here, and then I'm just going to go back here, let's say to all these guys over here, you can see, I don't know if all of them, Runaway Jen, I never, it's all 0. I don't even know what these guys are doing, I swear. These are new ones. I mean, I'm wasting so much time playing and investigating it instead of doing my work or other stuff. I have no idea what's the difference. That's the first time I'm looking at this one. Which one did I do? Runaway Jane 4 image. Check it out. I don't know what it does. Who made them? I should have learned more about them. Right now I have 0 credit. I'm planning to do so much until December, and look at that. So you can see this image. I can go back here and this one, I can actually download it, and that's it. That's what I can do with this one over here. I can go and edit it. I can generate, and I can go into a gallery that I have it here. If I do, see here, there's nothing. I mean, this is the Nano Banana State. This is ChatGPT, Flux. That does actually a lot of making stuff bigger. And then look at this one. It doesn't even want me to go and generate. And then let's say what this one is doing. And then Landscape 4.3, Flux 11 Pro. Do you know all of them?
Before it's private company.
Oh, look at this one. Look how nice is this one. This one is Flux 1.1 Pro. And this one is the other one that I did before. So I can see all of them except Firefly 4 and 3 doing one image only. This is really cool. Look how bright, like crisp. What? Depth over here. And then you can go back. Yeah, it's really cool. And then you can go back here. You can open it directly in Photoshop for the web. I wish it was in Photoshop. They're trying really to promote Photoshop for the web. I don't like it so much. I don't like the UI. And then over here is share options. Under the share open in Photoshop for the web and open it in Express. And image to video. So if I'm going to go back here to image to video, describe what you want to generate. And I say the bird is flying in. And I'm going to go in and say, okay, flying in. I'm just making it. And then I'm going to generate. So far, I have 0 credit because I have the freebie from Adobe Max. But okay, We cannot post it upon because the reference image doesn't meet our user guideline. Can you upload another image and try? So I don't know what the user guideline, so I'm just gonna go back here and then maybe go back to Photoshop, and then which one do I have here? Okay, it has to be with JPEG. That's why the problem is. I never have JPEG in my workflow. So you see, I cannot really open it. So I'm going to have to go in and look for a JPEG right now. And this is what I don't like, because now I have to go and look for my JPEGs. And I probably don't have any JPEG because I cleaned everything today. Extra file for practice. Of course, this is all going to be PDF files. So for some reason, I don't know why he didn't want me to do it. I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to upload a video. I mean, I'm going to go and go back here and upload from Creative Cloud Storage. Let's say if I can open something else. Maybe this one is going to be okay. Okay. Zero credit. What?
That's why you stable diffusion and install.
Yeah, what I did today before the class, because I had so many images, I took all my JPEG and I just deleted them a little bit. So it's going to be clean because I always work. But let's say what I have over here. And then I'm just going to go back here. It's not bad, that's kind of cute, right? So a lot of people get really smart with it. They'll do a lot of little thing and then they go to Premiere and put them all together. There is a beta right now to edit videos over here. It's still on beta. I didn't try it yet, but it's something that they're gonna work with. So that's kind of cool. Ooh.
It's kind of weird, her body is malformed, so she has like a leg and then she
I
has a
know.
shirt.
Her body is really, yeah. But oh, there's a lot of them. If I'll show you in my history over here, because I was trying to do something today, and then it's some of them did not come out good. And I'm gonna go into, I think, and these are all the custom models. So you can see train yourself AI model with Firefly, and they're giving you actually this one. They're telling you, okay, this one is actually cool. If you click on custom models, you can wait for, and then sooner or later you'll be able to sample and train AI based on your own one over here. I mean, it's not working yet, but it is. So the person who showed us this in AI, this is what his model, that was something he did, and then he told it, do something with it. And then you can go to the waiting list. I already clicked on it and I joined it. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. And then you can go and do the stuff that you have. Okay, another thing that you have new that they didn't have it for a while is in your adjustment layer. They changed one of the adjustment layers. And then if I click all the way here, you can see your center color balance, black and white channel over here. And then if you go back here under, you have the brightness, the contrast, and the exposure. And then where the color and vibrance, that's a new one. Remember the vibrance that was before? Now they took it away and they put it all the way here now. And now the vibrance has kind of like, it has the temperature and have the tint, you have the vibrance, and you have the saturation. So they kind of like combine it all together. I think you can do the legacy, it's going to do the old one, but the new one is basically going in and having that. I kind of like this drawing. Yeah. Did I like, it was like,
Didn't even say anything about water.
yeah, it says, no, department store window with fashionable mannequin and large hat. They did not say anything watercolor in this color, but it is beautiful. And I can,
Where it's giving that kind of splotchiness
Mhm.
as a watercolor would actually be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it is beautiful. I can say, oh, I did it. I want to look at the stuff that you asked me for about the reflection, because why don't I remember where it is? I know I saw it, and I need something with a reflection. So I'm just gonna go back here, and I think,
Some of the demos I saw on that they were just really incredible.
yeah,
I mean, the ability to know what was reflection, not what
yeah,
one was, or you could even pick only the reflection.
uh-huh.
That was amazing.
Yeah, so this one is something I did with Nano Banana, showing you I just selected the area, and then I can go to Nano Banana and just select an area and tell it what to do. So I just did different kind of thing with Nano Banana and tell it to fix the stuff. So in Nano Banana, you can tell it what to do. Like I want this to be here and I want this to be there. But I'm just gonna go in to see because I want to remember where it was. Now remove distraction. Vibrance and colors. That was not here. And it was on, okay.
Maybe
No.
you can just go to Nana Banana and tell it to generate
Yeah.
like a department store window with reflection.
Mhm.
So create it and see if it can get rid of it.
Yeah.
That would be easier.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. But I think it was this one. I wonder where it was over here. Did I save it? Okay, I think it was under the filters, I think. Let me just go back here. It's either, where was it? What I don't remember it. That's the reflection over here. Oh, I think it's over here. Yeah. Effect. We can Google it in a minute. I remember seeing what exactly what you said before. Not color, reflections. Remove reflection, right? Mm. Okay, I'm just gonna go back here. Click OK. I have a reflection over here. Okay. Okay. Okay, remove reflection.
Choose distraction removal or reflections from the options.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I know it was camera. So you're just gonna go to the remove tool. This is the remove tool. So remove distractions, and then you can see people, wires. Yeah. No, I know what it is. Because I saw it.
Reflections from the options, but answer reflections.
It used to be on in camera raw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe is it still there? Or okay, let me just go back here. Okay. The camera filter, that's what I was thinking. So I'm gonna go into the smart filter. And then I'm going to go to filter and I'm going to go into camera filter. And then that's what I was going to before. So I think it should be under one of these little guys over here. Sharpening, noise, color, grad, that's not. Distortion, vignettes, lens blur, it's not. It should be under the effects, I think. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna go back here. Oh, it is in beta, I think so. Okay, no, it's okay. So I have the beta. So let's look at the beta, and then we're gonna jump into Illustrator very fast. And then I'm just gonna open the beta. Yeah, and then you have to go turn it on. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back here, and then file and open. And then I'm gonna go back here to Photoshop and harmonize and denser and this one. And then Just gonna zoom out to it and then filter, convert to smart filter. Oops, not this one. Filter, convert to smart filter. And then we're gonna go to our, I don't want parametric filters right now. That's not what we want. Camera roll filter, and then should be somewhere here if I turned it on, because I know I used it. Sharpening, noise destruction. Okay, we'll figure it out later. I mean, exposure, yeah, it'll be, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go back here, preferences, performance, technology preview. Okay, I have to turn it on. And then it's gonna be here probably. But I have to turn it off again. So let me just go in and go move on to Illustrator for a minute. And then if we have time, I'm gonna look at this one. Illustrator has few things, so I'm just gonna go back here and quit that. I think I downloaded a new beta and that's why it wasn't on the technology. Okay, so I'm gonna go in Illustrator. I'm actually can go and open the beta. You can open the regular one also, but I'm gonna open the beta right now for the reason that one of the files that they said it's gonna go into the regular one did not go in there, and I wanna go and show it to you. So I'm going to, once again, there's project over here. They have generation history, the same thing like we have in Photoshop. So you can see all the stuff, and you have the templates, the same thing. So all of them have the same thing with the templates that you have over here. So I'm just going to open a file. You don't want to have that. I'm going to go in and open, and I'm going to Illustrator, and I'm going to go in, let's say, to the clown and to this one, the turntable. And this is the one they're like all screaming about it and saying that it's so amazing. So you can see it's a 2D files that you have over here. And then I'm just going to select that only in beta. It didn't go into the regular one, but it is a public beta and everybody can use it. They have something called turntable. And if I go into turntable, the first time you go, it's going to tell you what it's going to do. And now it's taking the 2D that you have, and it's giving you views. So if you can create, let's say, a marketing stuff and all kind of stuff like that, it will give you views of the 2D, almost kind of like turning it around, and that's what they're calling it, turntable. So if I want to show somebody, look what I drew here, and I'm going to put it on my t-shirt, but then I want to have the back over here, so you can have, and then now in this version, they have it one next to each other, and then you're going to have that next to each other, and then they're asking you to select the variation. Is it good? Is it bad? I mean, like things like this, because they're still checking it out. And then the same thing, let's say I have this guy over here, right? So it is over here, turntable. That's the first time if you're doing it, it's a generate and multiply views. Take your new order and save the group and in the layer panel. So it's going to go in and right away be a group in your layers panel. And then everybody's starting to do like 2D images. It's really great for prototyping something. Instead of going to real 3D, you can go and turn it around and then see multiple variations over here.
Great flat mirror plot. So you create illustrated flat, and then when it rotates around, it has a gun behind its back. But it's only, you can only see it when it gets rotated.
Yeah. So who's using it? I saw a lot of demos already where people do some kind of flat animation and they start showing the stuff that they have here. I think later on they might take it to a different kind of thing and maybe animate it a little bit. I mean, don't quote me because I'm just saying it, but you know, you have Adobe Animate and then it's kind of dying right now. They stopped developing it. I think between this one and Project Neo, which is another one for 3D that integrates with Illustrator, you might be able to go in and do stuff like that very fast, kind of like show people and maybe take it even to After Effects one by one, and then maybe kind of animate it or maybe GIF file. I don't know. I'm thinking, what am I going to do?
The feature out of the gate, I think it's doing a really good job of kind of guessing what isn't there.
Yeah.
I think it's very.
So that's kind of like a good thing that you have. Another thing that you have is, and I'm going to stay here in the beta over here, but if I'm drawing here in Illustrator, what you have here, see here, this is the artboard, and I have another one with artboard. But right now, if I go in, look at this, I'm not on the artboard tool. And if I zooming in here, you can see, you see the artboard name. That's new. You didn't see it before. You used to see it only when you clicked on it. And look what you have right now. As soon as you click on it, you see the plus sign over here. It's like in Photoshop. So now you can just go and do that and then click on that. And if you want to duplicate it, you can go in and hold on the Option key and then go in and duplicate on the stuff and then create a duplication of the artboard. So kind of like they took it from yeah, you took it from Photoshop and then just do that with the artboard. You can also go and select the artboard directly on the screen over here. And then if you go to your artboard panel right now, artboard panel, it's probably out. If you go to the artboard panel, here's the output panel over here. So basically I can go back here and I can click on the artboard and then go into the flyout menu. I can delete, I can rename. I can also do the artboard options that you have over here and then see how many artboards that you have. And then basically you can select directly and then based off the selection, that's how the artboard are going to go in here. And then you can go back here, of course, and generate directly from here. Subject, unique pattern, and rasterize your artwork if you have over here. So the artboard are pretty new. They still do not talk to your layers panel. So I'm going to go into workspace and reset it. What does it mean? I can have like maybe, what do I have here? I have one layer, but I have four artboards. So in Illustrator, you have to remember it's really frustrating, but the artboards and the layers don't talk to each other because you can click and put stuff whenever you want and anywhere. So it's kind of like I just do it by default. The other thing that you have here, you have a better pencil. So if you're gonna click over here, and then I'm going to go into my pencils over here. I'm gonna double click on the pencil and I can draw with it, but I'm just gonna click on that. It's a live drawing with that. So I don't know if you remember how the pencil was before, but right now when I'm drawing with it, I really see exactly what I'm doing, and it's a better kind of like drawing tool that you have. You can go double click on it, and then you can see toggle between smoothing, and then you can say live feeding over here. So right away, you can see how nice the pencil tool is actually looking right now as opposed to the pencil tool before. In general, not just the pencil, everything that you have is faster. Even if you go back here and click and drag and make it smaller or bigger, everything is kind of has almost like live preview, and it's a lot faster on the screen while you're working. The other thing that you have is basically if you select some stuff, you have a new, if I'm going to go back here, you can share over here, like in Photoshop. We didn't even look at Photoshop, but in all of them, you can share for review and start kind of like collaborating with people while you work. And then you can create a link over here. And then over here, you have like you can go and snap images directly over here. So let's say I'm just going to go back here and have the snap control. So these are kind of like the new things. Another new thing in Illustrator, and I might open the regular one because Turntable is only on beta.
So when somebody would log, so when you give somebody the link to look at your artwork and they don't have the account, they're basically just gonna see artwork, they're not gonna see control panel or anything like that?
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna go back here and bring it here and then file and open. And let's say I'm going to go and open something over here. So I'm going to open another one. This one showed a few months ago. It is kind of, you can see this is an image. I created this little birdies. I'm going to duplicate it. I didn't draw them. I created them vector, text to vector. So I said little birdie, whatever it is. And then let me just copy it so I'm not losing it. But now I can go back here and I can select that and then go into a new feature that says object on a path. And I'm going to choose any path that I have and click on it. And this is what I get. So that's something new. And everybody is like, wow. And guess what?
InDesign pages.
No, they had it in freehand from day one. So it's object on a path over here. So you can go in and rotate stuff. So I can go in and change the spacing over here. I can go in and rotate them. I can go back here and move it around all the way. But I can also click on them and you can see this little one. I'm going to move it over here. So I can just start moving them around a little bit if I want. So you can do a lot of stuff directly on any path that you want. Kind of cool if you need to do that. That's
Like, they type up path.
tap on a path.
Yeah.
So
Nice. That makes a lot more sort of
yeah,
granularity in terms of getting it to do what you want it to do. It's really nice.
it's really nice, but I don't know if it's going to do it over here. Maybe it will. That's what it goes like that. See what Friend did, it really attached it to the stuff. That's maybe coming soon. That's kind of like one of the things that you want to do. Maybe I'm just gonna go in and create outline. Still, she doesn't do it over here. So it's kind of like, or maybe it's not the right one. I wonder if it
Well,
was,
like with type, you just have to go type on a path.
yeah.
You pick.
Yeah,
pick
you
something
pick and
on
do
it.
it. Yeah, but what Friend used to do it with type on a path doing. Yeah, does it automatically when you have that. Then you have the new features over here. See all the way down, you have to see the magnets, and then you see here snapping quick access to my snapping. So you see snap to grid, and then snap to pixels, snap to point, and snap to guides over here. Smart guide reference. So it's going to go into the smart guide directly here. And then over here, you can just go in and it's a toggle between going back and forth to that. So this is kind of like an advanced, smart kind of like stuff. And then the one really feedback from it because before that you had to open the preferences and go in and out. Now the snapping is pretty good that you have there. Time to think about more stuff that we have with Illustrator because I know I have it in my PDF. And then I'm just gonna go back here. I have kind of like the list over here. And then again, so you have fine apply the fonts over here, smooth transition or with gradient, which I didn't do. Oh, and of course how did I forget that? Okay. So because it's been there, I mean, it's new. It was in a request for a while that people really wanted it. It's actually the start tool. So I don't know if you remember the start tool before that. You click on the star, you did, let's say, you did the point and that's it. And then it didn't do anything. So now, first of all, it has that. If you go in to the properties panel, you can go into that and then you can go and have that. You can also go back here and right away you can do it. So everybody is super, super excited that you have here. You have the dots over here, so you can go back and do this. Do you remember for a while when you did that to the star by default, it will get stuck and you couldn't go back to the normal. You almost had to reinstall, trash the preferences. So you don't need to do it, not wonky anymore. And look at that. Look how fast and nice it here over here. And then if I go back here to the transform, look at this. Yay! So that's kind of a new one. And I cannot even start telling you how many years we asked them to do it in the pre-release and they kept saying, no, no. And then everybody, the most clapping they got because this is simple.
They then use it for.
You'd use it for
different
everything that you
stuff.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's say we want to create a gradient in it. So what was before with the gradient? Before in Illustrator, when you went to a gradient, you had to go to a gradient. Then you had to go to the gradient panel and then start changing all to the gradient annotator over here. And you still can do it. So you can go back here and click on it. I mean, oops, I'm going to go back here and click on that and then drag and drop a color on it. And you can still can go in and do it, but you no longer have to do that every here. So now basically you can see here, I'm going to move it and I can go in and add another one and things like this. But now when you want to do a gradient, you basically don't have to go to the regular gradient. Really what I can do is I can deselect, I can go to my swatch panel, I'm going to select four colors over here. And now in the flyout menu, you're going in and say create gradient. So automatically it is going to go in and create the gradients for you. And then if you see over here, basically you have the gradient and then I can go back here and then this is an automatic gradient. So people really like it because then I have to go first from a gradient. Also, I can go in the gradient panel over here. And then I have different methods now. Perceptual is the new one. And then the classic one is the old one that I had before. And then if I go back and forth, I have that. The other thing that you have, and it's been there for a while, but some people don't know that it's there, under in the gradient, look what I have. So I have a radial gradient, I mean a linear, and I have a radial. But also I have something called freeform gradient. And then in the freeform gradient, it is divided to point or lines. And then this one is a gradient that you cannot save to your swatch panel, but you can work with it. It looks like watercolor. So I'm going to click on that and then maybe drag and drop it over here and click on this one and drag and drop it. And it's fluid. It's like the mesh tool without the meshes. So I'm going to click here and then I'm going to bring that here. You cannot save it because it is not an appearance, but you can do a lot of fun stuff. You can also go to lines and you can do stuff like this. And then click on everywhere on the line and just go back here and do a different color. Of course, if you have better color, it's going to look a lot better, but look how cool it is when you're working with it. You cannot save it as a swatch, but you can always go back to it later and say edit gradient. So this is the freeform gradient. It's not new. It came 2 years ago or a year ago, but the create gradient, it is new. Create gradient from 2, 3, 4, 5 colors that you can go and work with, which is really cool. The other one that I really like, which is more like, let's say I'm just gonna go and put it like with a very mild color. Let me just something like this. Once you have it over here, I have already a shape over here, and I'm gonna say Jane shape fill. So in here, I'm gonna say small birds with tiny flowers. Not very creative today, but you can see it telling you a dove and a sunflower, a sparrow, and it's female, a lovely and curious bird. I'm going to do that. Why not? They give you a suggestion, and then it goes to fill the area that you have. So it's kind of like the gen fill in Photoshop, but this one creates vector, 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 so you can really play with it a lot and then move them around and colorize them. I'm going to show you a few samples, and you have the samples actually in the project that I gave you. So look at that.
Firefly?
If it's come from Firefly. So you do have it in Firefly too, of course. And then you can see that. How cool! I created a logo. I have a bird, right? And I'm just gonna go back here and then, so look what I did now. As soon as I selected it, I did add selected colors, and look what I got. I got all the colors from the birds over here right away, which is global colors. So what does it mean, global colors in Illustrator? If I double click and see the preview and change, if I do have the colors there, you see something is changing. It's this color actually, not a lot. But if I have like some kind of blues over here and I'm gonna change it, you can see that it's changing. It's here. So that's global colors, and then I edit it from anything that I did. So what I really do, I will go into, let's say, double click. I'm going to double click. I double clicked. Maybe I cut it out. And then I'm just going to select. So that's what I do with the stuff that I have. Double click again, dig it out, and then paste it. And now I have the bird by myself. Now I can start doing different kind of things to it. I didn't take her legs or whatever it is. But what you have over here is basically you can go and recolor. So that's also part of Firefly within Illustrator. So look what I have here. I can recolor it. You see the different colors that she's getting, and I can save it. But if I go to the advanced over here, I can also go open in advanced, and then I'm going to go generative recolor. So in generative recolor, you can get inspiration, and it tells you which kind of colors that you're going to get, and then you're going to go in and look at one, and it's going to give you a sample of 4 birds with the same color. So you can see here, this is one, this is one, this is one, and this is one. They're kind of different. So what do I do? Because it's vector, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back here and duplicate it, and then I'm just going to go back to the recolor and just change it. So each one of them is going to go in and change it, and then I'm gonna duplicate that, and that's how I can get different kind of colors that I have. So recolor artwork is really awesome, and also you do have it as a generative recolor. And of course, each one of them you can go and, so I'm going to go gen fill, and then it has also a generative expand, which you can expand the area that you have. So it's going to tell you how much you can go and expand the stuff and see what it is going to go. And if I don't tell it to put anything, it will just do an expansion. But it is vector, so I don't use it as much because I can actually expand my vectors the way I want, the way it works with it. But generative recolor, it's really cool. It's all within Firefly. See, it didn't mean anything, but yeah, it's it's a bigger one. So it is actually. Mm-hmm.
Those shades.
Yeah, it's cool, huh? And when okay, so see here, that's underneath it because it's expanding it as a whole area. So if I'm going to go to view and show transparency grid, this is the expansion. And that's why, see if I take it away, because the expansion does it like Photoshop, like expand it with a kind of a background that you have. But I can go back here. I just do my regular, you see, you can just change it. Also, if you go back here, you can say generate generative colors, and then that's going to go and give you ideas, and you can just go and get 4 samples. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can pretend that I did it. So I don't have to work. So that's how I did the other birds over here. These guys, they came from a whole thing. I just said little birds, and I can put them, and you can make them into symbols. You can make it into a brush. So you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. What?
Yes.
Yeah. So different kind of things that you have here. So basically that you have the smooth colors that you have, preview, apply, ready to do gradient preset, snap it to the line and all the stuff here, and then edit, unlocking the artboards that you have over here. So you have a nice little thing directly on the artboard. So the last one I'm going to do is actually InDesign that didn't get a lot of stuff, but it got tiny little tweaks. They actually they were very upset during Adobe Max. They didn't even mention InDesign this year. They were really into, of course, Photoshop, Firefly, Illustrator, and Premiere. Premiere got a huge thing because now you can edit with Firefly and do all kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna have a little preview over here.
Heavy lifting for action production work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you don't have that, you don't have any, you don't have a publication.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to work for it. So basically what you have is something like that over here. I have the 2 pages over here. And then I didn't create this one. This is like the cover page, and this is the content that you have over here. I kind of took it from online. And then basically what you have, you select one, and then you select the other one together. And then if you go to your properties panel, you have something says fix layout. And then if I click on it, that's going to see it's a flex layout. So you can go and make it bigger and smaller. You can play with it. You can just go and click here and move it around. But if I take it away, it should be that and if you take it away, basically what you do is rearrange the area that you have and flexing it. So you can just nest stuff one inside each other and start kind of like moving around, especially good for catalogs, good for calendar, and all good of stuff like this. So let's say, I think in the demo, what they did is basically selected the whole thing, and then it's okay, it's of course locked. I don't like this demo file. So, and then kind of like this is the demo file that you can go in and kind of move it around, and then just gonna go back here and delete stuff. And then if you're gonna delete, it should kind of like go in and start moving the stuff around. So the way to do it is basically nest one thing in each other, and nest your type and your images or the sub stuff that you have, and create from it a flex layout. So that's kind of like one of the main things that they did. The other thing that you have is it's open. And then if I'm going to go back here, and let's say I'm going to open the PDF that I made over here, it will be in initializing and conversion. It's not so great. It takes a long time. It was in beta for a very long time, but now it is kind of like an InDesign file. Look at that. So now I can go to the pages, and actually I can start fixing it. And that's really cool.
And it's keeping it as type, or is it just turn it into space?
Type. Life type that you have. It's kind of like better.
And you need to have the type then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and you have to do the type, and you have to have everything. So this is something that we're really promoting, because people were waiting for it. Because when you open a PDF file within Illustrator, it will maintain the type, but if you have it, but a lot of time it will break it to different weird sentences. Yeah, over here and here, it's kind of like not bad. So it's kind of like helping, because now I'm not going to open the PDFs in Illustrator, that I create from InDesign for layout. I'm just going to open it here. And my favorite thing, which is not new, you know what it is, right? What is my new favorite thing? It's not new, but my favorite thing is publish online. You know that, right? So when you go to publish online, you basically can go back here. It will take everything that you have. You can give it a title. You can update the existing document if you want. You have to do a new one. So I'm going to call it test. Might delete it. You can go into your advanced area. You can say allow viewer to download a PDF for print, and then upload an image for the first one of the first page and then publish it. I think it does also HTML, and now it's basically going in and publishing it. The publishing has a unique link that not you cannot have a custom link. So it is what I call it. It is what it is, and it's within design, and that's it. And now I can say copy the link. Also can view the document. And actually, I have that. So I can see it over here, and I can see my document. Should be also a link over here. Hopefully I linked it okay. And that's taking you to a podcast with a few of my favorite people over here, what's new, and they're gonna probably gonna talk about more stuff because these are the people who really do from Creative Pro. If you really want to do a lot of InDesign to the pixel, this is the place to go to. So they have a conference once a year. They actually have this week a conference on generative AI online, and they're really going into like who knows what, but completely. So that's why I put the link over here, and then you can see that the other link that I put there is
InDesign for print should also avail yourself of knowledge of printer basics.
oh, absolutely.
Understanding
Up
what is like, you know, CMYK.
CMYK and RGB and colors and trapping and
You up your file, is it, you know, explanation compliant? You know, are you hitting standards that your printer is going to have to
yeah,
print to? Because if you give them a crap file, they're just gonna send it back to you.
exactly.
So, what is a bleed?
What is a bleed? What's a trapping? Even if you don't do the trapping, you need to know all that. So that,
Wayfair,
yeah,
all these things you're expected to know as a designer if you're using.
and
that
you don't know.
File, if you don't know that, they're just gonna say, sorry.
And then that's actually happened to me the first time that I did a huge brochure over here. It was years and years and years ago. And I remember how I brought it, and that's when you had to walk to the places with all the stuff. That's why they call it slug with a path. And everything was wrong.
And your images were RGB.
And everything was wrong completely. The resolution, the whole thing. And then they looked at me like, great design. Did anybody really told you what to do? And I'm like, nope. And she said, where's the bleed? And I said, who's bleeding? I swear it was like this. And then that was it. And then I went in and just started thinking about online, and then I always tell the students or everybody else, I said, if you're a control freak, do print. Because that's when you can control the colors, the whole thing. But it is a yeah, you and the first thing you're gonna do is actually talk to your printer. I did a CD cover for, I think it was Universal. The one thing they forgot to tell me is they're printing it in Europe.
Like
All, all the specs, all the specs for the colors and the whole thing. They called me and they said the colors are not correct. I said, "Do you want me to go to printer?" And they said, "No, it's in Germany." And I said, "Did you Yeah, did you? Yeah. So anyway, so this is kind of the story. So I think it's on time right now. I know you have any other question. We're gonna investigate it after that because now I'm really curious why I didn't see it over here. But thank you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, the Illustrator, the Illustrator earring. Yeah. Usually I come with the long ones. Did you see? In the picture, yeah, I have over here. These are the ones that I have usually.
Yeah,
But
there's some like base printing standard, but you do need to talk to the printer because they'll have their own idiosyncrasies of what they want, of how they want it packaged. Do they want a quarter or an eighth inch bleed, or what are their requirements? You know,